You are listening to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. I'm Samantha Brown, a professional organizer and business coach. In this podcast, you will learn how to start and scale the organizing business of your dreams. So let's jump in. Welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. On today's episode, I have Khadirah Muhammad, who is a marketing, automations, and systems engineer. She is also the CEO of a company called Omnipotent Consulting. She also has a podcast called Succeeding with Systems. So if you are someone that is struggling by doing everything in your business yourself, then today's episode is for you. You do not want to miss this. She helps small businesses, big businesses, everybody. But for you specifically today, we're going to focus on the small tech side of things that will help you to fuel your business, the friendly side of tech, because I know tech can get a little confusing for a lot of us starting up, and then so many other things because we want to help you get your lifestyle back. Thank you, Khadirah, for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And I hope everybody listening, I'm excited about what value you're about to get from this little conversation we're going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I want you to jump in to just a little bit about you and kind of your backstory, and then we'll jump into all things tech.
Oh, absolutely. So again, my name is Khadirah Muhammad. I got started in just entrepreneurship since like 2019, right before I graduated college. And it's mostly because I was putting out a lot of applications for jobs and nobody was calling me back. And so that was kind of like, all right, let's try something different. I got started, I worked at a marketing agency for a couple of years in college. And so I actually got started in digital marketing and consulting people on that. Did that for a couple of years. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. One of the things I saw, however, was a lot of my own clients had all these other little tech issues. It's just these little problems because I realized I'm helping them, get leads, get customers, get clients for themselves, but then they're not figuring out the back end of it. And so I'm really kind of inclined to that. I actually initially went to college to be a web developer. My parents are super tech heavy. My dad builds computers for a living. And my mom, by day, she works in kind of administration, but by night she studies Amazon, AWS database building and a bunch of things that even I myself have no idea about, but she loves to show me. And I'm like, you go, mom, whatever that is. Yeah. So basically tech is my thing. So it was very easy for me to pick that up. And I realized a lot of business owners had an issue with putting together their own technology and just the back end of it. A lot of you are the visionaries, you have the ideas, you know what you really want, but then the execution of the back end, the organization and the structure is what I'm very passionate about. So I got started with just focusing on helping people leverage marketing automation and systems so they can gain back their time, as well as grow and scale their companies ever since 2021. So I'm very happy to be here. And that's kind of how I got started. And it's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love the fact that, your mom's even like, look, honey. And you're like, okay, get it, girl. But I have no idea what you're showing me.
No idea. I've got no clue, but I'm super happy for you.
Right.
Happy for you.
Right. Glad you found your passion.
Right.
And honestly, I'm so thankful for people like you that can come alongside of us as the visionaries and help us, because there is, especially in the day we live in now, there's so many things and so many pieces. And, I try to teach on the podcast, kind of here's a list, here's how to start your organizing business. And you do want to get those foundational pieces in order and get them laid out and get them solid. But once they're solid, then this is also something that helps you move up. How do you start then scaling? Because, okay, you can be getting all of these leads, but what's the system you take your client through? What's the client intake system? And is it flowing correctly, or is it just making you and them more confused?
Oh my God. That was a great point.
Yeah.
That was a terrific point, because if you don't do the structure and the organization, yourself, then you're also just kind of guessing a little bit. And it's not a very good experience for the client. It's not a good experience for you, because then you're just playing catch up. You're doing double the work for the single amount of pay that you got.
Yes.
So it's not a good way to do business. And there's ways to make it more intuitive for you and for your client. And believe it or not, it's a lot more simple, like easy.
Well, and I'm so glad you brought up the word simple, because I did want to make the point that I know a lot of you are probably like, oh gosh, here's another tech conversation that I'm going to be more confused. But the point, though, is that we want to keep it simple. Like, that's the whole reason you and I had a conversation and we're like, we have to record this, because it's about how can we make this as simple as possible for you as the visionary and as the business owner, but
Yes.
also for your clients. Like, I think a lot of times as business owners, we get in this place where we think like, oh, more is better. Like, if I have more questions, more info on my website, more whatever. And all you're doing are confusing people that are already confused, because they're, they have clutter and they have things that, are confusing them anyways. They just want it to be simple. They're like, where do I pay? How do I pay you? Come help me.
Exactly. And I know, I deal with service-based businesses a lot of times who are like coaches, consultants, more online based, but the concept is actually the same for even our organizers. Like, I'm getting people in who are kind of like, their stuff is everywhere. All their things is everywhere. They're hoarding a bunch of stuff, and it's just, they just want you to come fix it. They don't want more clutter. And so the simpler the process and the less tech possible, the better. And you might have heard that. You're like, did this tech person just say I should use less tech? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because you have too much. I promise you, you have too much. I love technology. I like looking at different apps, and I'll sign up for different subscriptions just to see how the apps work, because that's what I do, though. Right. But I don't like technology just for technology's sake when we're talking about execution. That's where people get tripped up. That's where things get more expensive, because everything costs, right? And costs are just going up. And that's also where we lose sight of what we're really doing this for, right? You don't need a bunch of applications. You don't need all these different emails kind of going out. You don't need to get set up over here and set up over there and get this lifetime subscription and get this $97 subscription to something that you don't really know how it's supposed to work, but you saw somebody talk about it and you're like, well, I'm just going to get it and then we'll figure it out eventually. And then eventually it's 4 months later when you see you've been charged like $400, but you don't know for what. So it's really important when you're thinking about not just technology, but systems, structure, foundation. Simplicity is best. Simplicity is everything. And ironically enough, you can charge more for being more simple. But we can that's probably a whole different conversation, but you can do that. It's all about the overall experience of not just the client, but you and your relationship with the client as well.
Agreed. Yeah, because they're human and so are we. And
Exactly.
the more we pull away from that human aspect is actually the harder it is for them to just give us a simple yes. And all we're looking for is a simple yes. Let me come in and help you. Keep it simple, people. All right. So I have got a question. How can professional organizers use small scale tech to fuel their businesses?
Oh, perfect. Great question. So the first thing is, before you even jump into technology, we first need to understand what we're even using it for. This is another reason I think a lot of people, you see an ad online, you see your favorite influencer talk about something, and you get it before you think about why you need it. So if we're a pro organizer, and I'm asking you this as well, because you know this better than me, when somebody wants to learn more about what you do, they probably need to book an appointment with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if they're going to book an appointment with you, whether you're doing it virtually or maybe you're going to their home, immediately, whatever that process looks like, you need an easy way, not only for them to book, but for you to confirm the appointment, for them to get reminders, and for you to get reminders about the meeting as well. That's the problem that we want to have solved, right? An easy way, a solution for that specific kind of hypothetical example is something like Calendly, a free app. Free app. One more time, free app that you can get right now. And I'm sure Samantha has told y'all to get it or something like it as well. And if you don't use, like, I know you probably heard it, like, oh, I don't know, I probably need this other thing. You don't. What you just need is Calendly connected to your calendar that you use, probably a Google Calendar. And now people can book appointments with you. Now you know whose house you're going to. Now you know who's this potential client that you have. And inside of Calendly, again, in their free version, you can set up email reminders. And if you upgrade, you can even do text message reminders if you want to, which I would suggest you do. But something as simple as a Calendly for text message reminders. Another thing is you want to have an easy way to send emails to people. Not necessarily like your personal, G Suite account that you might have, although you should have something like G Suite just to have your kind of professional branding and your website and professional domain for your emails. But you also are going to want to have something like a MailChimp, which is free. So you can send mass emails to your clients, to any leads that you get in, to keep them informed, to keep them, and especially if they're leads, before they become clients, you want to send the communications about who you are, what you do, success stories. This is, to me, this is a great industry for before and afters, right? Show people what it looks like after they've worked with you. Okay, so they can know what they can expect and what they can be looking forward to when they actually book their call with you and they book their appointment. And of course, when they actually sign up for services. So 2 of them I just named, both of them are free. Calendly and MailChimp, you should get those today. And how they work together, Calendly books those appointments. MailChimp is where you're going to put all your leads when you get them in, whether they're referrals or you're using whatever your marketing device is. Put their emails in MailChimp. Send people a regular email. It doesn't have to be every day. It can be once a week. Do whatever works for you. And 4 emails out of the month, you're sending people communications just before and after. That's the easiest thing.
Yeah. And honestly, that's what we were just talking about. I was talking about with one of my coaching clients the other day, is we were talking about, because she was asking how she could get phone calls set up a little easier. And I'm like, listen, do Calendly, put that on your website on the homepage. So they just click a button and you set up the time you're going to have your phone call. Yes. The phone call part can easily be automated. And then, of course, you have to go in and make sure that you're doing your calendar side of things. But that at least makes it as simple as possible for them to at least start the conversation with you. And then from there, you can decide how you want to set up the consultation and the sessions. But at least that phone call can absolutely be set up, because we want people to easily be able to just tap a button or fill out our contact form, and we immediately get all their information with their email. Yes. So then even if we have the phone call and they're like, well, I'm not ready to book yet. Okay, great. Now you're a part of my MailChimp line. And I love exactly what you said of just sending them, like, who you are, what you can do for them, your success stories, your before and after photos, just simple little emails that keep you front of mind. So when they are ready to book, they can come back to you.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's just the follow-up, right? Not everybody who calls you is ready to start for whatever reason. Maybe they're just like, I'm trying to get more information. Maybe mentally they're like, it still feels kind of embarrassing that I even need help for this anyway. So we want to reassure them that you may not book me today, but you called the right person, right? You contacted the right person. Pictures speak 1,000 words. And so having a way to show people what it feels like, having testimonials is great. If you have any testimonials, preferably if they're video testimonials, but written testimonials, pictures of, if the clients don't mind, of them in front of their house, so it shows that it's a real person, something like that is very, very helpful. You don't have to overthink the emails, because I know somebody just thought about that. What do I put in there? What do I write in there? How do I build a copy? What even is copy? What's messaging? Don't worry. Send the pictures. If you have pictures, that's better than anything I could ever write.
Absolutely. Well, and I've been teaching, like, inside of my membership with the women, and trying to talk about on the podcast of Canva, of course, which we all know Canva. But like what templates to use on Canva. And I'm in the process of, I'm getting ready to start actually selling. I did a Canva workshop that will be free. And then, like, as a bonus, like, I don't know, $10 or something, but it's like 30 done for you templates on Canva as a professional organizer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so you could even take those and, like, put those in the email if you wanted, add a little bit of wording at the top or something, and shoot those out. Like, as simple as possible. Yes, is where you want to keep it. but it makes you look professional is the point.
Exactly. And I love that, because another reason why we want to use an application like MailChimp to send our emails is because you can pre-schedule all those. You can make workflows in MailChimp. So if anybody opts in, right, let's say they fill out the contact form on your webpage, or even if they book a call on Calendly, we can send their information to MailChimp, and now they go into our weekly email series of emails that you already pre-scheduled, that you already made.
Yes. And the other thing I love is that I've been teaching people also about, like, at least a couple of times a year, having some kind of like voucher or deal that you send your clients. And just to be flat out honest, I've been making this harder than it needs to be, because I've been doing it from my phone, sending it to them one at a time. As I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm like, I need to get MailChimp. That's where I need to be sending out these vouchers and these deals I'm doing. So then it's not me having to spend a whole day just sending out information to every potential client I've ever had.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely should with MailChimp.
Yeah.
And in reality, I would love for you all to kind of get set up with what's called a customer relationship management system, a CRM. Depending on where you're at, that might be a little bit too much, right? Because CRMs can be very complicated. They take a lot of setup and onboarding. And I'm more trying to speak to the person who is ready to start and they just need the bare minimum to get going.
Yes.
Right? They just need the bare minimum to feel a little bit more confident, so that way they can go out and help the clients that they want to help. Right? CRMs, I think, they're another step, but it does make your life easier, and it is the direction that you want to go. I'm just probably not going to talk a lot about it, but that I'm kind of teasing a little bit. If you do a follow-up episode for the organizers who are at that level, we can definitely talk more in depth about that. Yeah, if you're just getting started, you're not at Samantha's level quite yet, Calendly, MailChimp, enough to get you going.
Absolutely. All right. So we kind of already talked a little bit about like the Calendly thing, but what are some other for the very beginner, the startup friendly tech suggestions? So a lot of my clients and me, we've kind of been talking about when it comes to like marketing per se, right? So just to give you an example of when you're using Canva, sometimes Canva, the scheduling part of it does not line up with what you're actually like, it doesn't link correctly or whatever. And then, of course, now Facebook has this like Facebook business suite that you can use. And so we've kind of been bouncing the ideas back and forth of those. But I want it as I'm trying to help my girls understand. And I had one of the girls the other day mention this, and I thought this was genius. She said the way she looks at her Facebook posts that she's posting is they are becoming her portfolio for any future clients to go and look at. So it takes the pressure off of saying like, oh, I have to post to get a client. If I don't post every day or once a week, I'm not going to get clients, because that's where my clients are going to come from. Because most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's word of mouth is how you're going to get seen, or being on Google My Business is a good one. But when it comes to posting on Instagram and on Facebook, I love the idea of looking at that as your portfolio. And so just on that topic, is there anything that like kind of comes to mind or thoughts when it?
Yeah. First of all, I love what you said, because if I was somebody who needed to hire an organizer, I would definitely look at their social media just to see what you've done. I may not follow you. I probably won't follow you. I may not like your post, but I see it. You'll be surprised at how many people just see your stuff. I get DMs from people who have probably been my friend on Facebook, or they just follow me on Facebook and never liked the post, never commented, never looked at any of my videos from what I could tell. But they're like, yeah, I've been following you for like 2 years, and I just really like what you do. And I'm like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Like, that's crazy. But that's a very good idea. And I love what she said about it's your portfolio, especially in this space where it's very visual. And people want to see it because there's a particular outcome. As far as the technology, I would actually look at some classic social media posting tools like Buffer and Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE. Both of those two are scheduling platforms where you can make one piece of content and then you can have it be posted on all your social media profiles that you want. And I think they have a better calendar system. So you can see when this is supposed to go out, where does it go out, so on and so forth, and hit it like that. I think if you're using like a personal Facebook profile, I don't believe there's any scheduling tool that'll connect with like your personal Facebook profile. But you might have the type of Facebook profile that lets you pre-schedule your posts anyway. So like it's really particular. It hasn't been rolled out to everybody quite yet, but I think it's the professional. It's the professional level. It's a little bit weird. It's like creator level or something like that. You might want to look to see if you have that type of profile. If you don't, it's fine. You just will have to post your those posts on Facebook personally. But everywhere else, like Instagram, if you're using LinkedIn for whatever reason, if you're anywhere else, you can schedule those out ahead of time. So I would definitely look at Buffer or Hootsuite for those two.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I've not even heard of either one of those. So I will definitely be doing my research today so I can start telling people about them. Because that seems to be where a lot of girls are getting stuck. They're going on Canva. They're creating, like we've gotten past that part. We're creating our templates where we've got our before and after photos, all the things. But then how do I get it out to the public and it be simple and easy and to where I can batch my content for the month without having to think about it all the time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would definitely look at that because, again, you can pre-schedule everything. And then you can see what dates they go out, what time do they go out, on what platforms they go out on. So it's a really good idea. And especially if you're doing like Instagram Reels, because Instagram didn't always allow people to schedule Reels, and now they do.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, now you can schedule those out so you can even batch your reels. Because you used to have to do it like in the moment, which is doing too much.
Right. That's way too. We're not trying to go that difficult. We want easy.
Right. Easy and simple.
Yeah. So, last little thing, why professional organizers would need tech to get their time back and then eventually to scale? So like, what is it that why do we even need these tech pieces that we've been talking about? Like, what's the point of setting those up now? And why does that matter?
I love that question. The biggest thing is your structure and your foundation is key to everything. You're not setting up technology just to like have a bunch of stuff. We want to have the right foundation that we can build off of, because we don't want to build a foundation on sand, and we don't want to build a foundation on air. Like you want to have it to be solid, because that's how you can make your house or make your business bigger and better. You can improve upon it from there. So this is also why we're going for simplicity, because we don't want to start off on a complicated foundation that makes everything you build on top of it complicated. We want it to be intuitive. We want it to be simple for you. And then more importantly, simple for the people that you hire that come after you. So everything that you're doing right now, take yourself out of it as much as possible. You really have to take yourself out of it and see, okay, what do I need today that I can use tomorrow, and then that can grow with me tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And if I bring somebody else on, is this going to be simple enough for them to use as well? That's why I think before I even like roll out any software for my own company, like I look at different software all the time. To give you an example, I just switched project management tools. I'm looking at something different because I got started with Asana, which is a project management tool, and it's free. But Asana is a lot. I mean, it's just a lot. Not in cost necessarily, but it's too much in there even for me. And so now I'm looking at different versions. I looked at Notion, I looked at ClickUp, and both of those have a free version as well. Because I need to see, when I bring on more people on my team, instead of the couple people that I have right now, do I have a project management tool that will allow us to easily communicate as a team? And more importantly, make sure our clients' work gets done. And I didn't think I could do that. I didn't feel like I could do that with Asana. So I'm starting to put that aside and look at other places, because I'm thinking on that level. So the important part with technology is you want to look at what are your needs today, and then will this grow with me tomorrow, right? Does it have other features that I might need in the future? Okay. It's okay if you don't need them right now, right? And I'll give you an example of this. I have a customer relationship management system called Go High Level. All right. It's super robust. It's like if you're a tech person, this is your thing, right? And I happen to build, I build out some of my clients' dashboards and a bunch of stuff inside of Go High Level. When I first went into it, most of the features I could never use at the time. This is like 3 years ago. But I knew that I could use in the future. Like, to give you an example, when I first started, they offered SMS marketing. You could send out SMS messages to your contacts and people in there. I didn't need it back then, but I need it now, right? Back then, it even has a way to kind of post some social media on like LinkedIn and Facebook. It's a little limited, but it's kind of cool. But back then, I didn't need it for that. Now I do. So I picked that platform for me personally because I knew it would grow with me. So that's what you want to have in mind when you're just starting. And when you're scaling, you want to look at your technology and be like, okay, do I actually need this in the future? Or was this a Band-Aid solution? Mm-hmm. That's something that's so important, Samantha. I cannot understate this. A lot of times, visionaries and entrepreneurs, we create Band-Aid solutions for prescription problems. You got that software because it helped you today, but it's not going to help you tomorrow, and it's just going to cost more, right? And if you think about it, when you go to a doctor, they ask you questions, they run tests, they think about your history, and they think about where you're going, right? In order to figure out what to prescribe you or what are the next steps. That's how we have to be with our own business, right? What are our needs today? What's our history? What's our trajectory? Where are we going with this? And then what's the real next step? What's the real solution that'll help us not just today, but for tomorrow as well? It takes more time to think like that. Mm-hmm. It genuinely does. But it takes a little bit of time today to save you so much time. So much time in the future. Because there's so much opportunity cost that you end up bearing once you have to jump ship with something because you had a Band-Aid solution. And then it's just the mental fatigue of it. We are already fatigued as entrepreneurs, all the other things that we have to do. Don't let this be another kind of thing on your plate to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, as I've been growing more of the online space business, but everything I look at or that I implement, yes, I want to know how to be able to do it myself at first, but I also want to make sure, okay, the second I get this down and I know what's happening, okay, now it's time to pass it on. I can show someone else how to do it. So now I can continue doing the other things that as the business owner that I can keep growing and I can, because, those little things, the things that whether it's, scheduling or for me, the podcast editing or these little things in our business that take so much time, we can absolutely hire out when the time comes. But Correct. For when you're first starting, whatever makes the most sense to your brain, go with that, just go with that. But also look at it, like she said, in a way of, okay, is this something that as I grow, it can grow with me? But in this moment, it makes sense to my brain. It's easy. Let's stick with that.
Exactly. We always want to be as forward thinking as possible. And I know when you're just starting and a lot of things are confusing, it's a bit overwhelming. It seems like all at once. You may just want to go for the quick and dirty, right? But again, if you can just take a little bit and just say, okay, do I really need this? Because again, all this stuff costs too. Mm-hmm. There's free versions, but then as you grow, you're probably going to need a paid version. But if it can't really help you, it costs you more than you think. I have a client right now. She's locked in for a year in some CRM thing that is so clunky. And it's just, it's too much for what her team needs. And so now I told her, you're locked in for a year and I don't know what the penalty is to break it. It's an actual contract. It's not a month to month type of thing. And I'm when you get to that year point, you're gonna have to let me know, right? We can start the process maybe a month or so before the contract is up. But unfortunately, I don't want to have you pay double, right, for something else. So we kind of had to wait it out. We'll do the best that we can and we'll have to return to it later. If you just think about all the time that she's wasting because she's dealing with this clunky platform that doesn't really work for what she really needed in the future, but she just got it because she thought that was just the thing to do. So,
hey, real quick, promptu question. Speaking of clunky platforms, what would be your suggestion for someone wanting to start off website design, like the website carriers? When it comes to that, what would you suggest that is the easiest, or that you have found is the easiest when you're wanting to keep it simple, but that can also grow with you? Like, because I like Squarespace, but for me, it's grown, like I've used it the whole time, so it grows with me. But there are some limits to it. And so what platform do you recommend to your clients that are just starting out for website design?
Yeah, if you're just starting out, I'm actually a big fan of Wix. I think Wix is really good. And I think for this niche in this industry of organizers, Wix probably is a decent option because it also comes with like the calendar booking side of it as well. And so that can take the place of Calendly if you would like for it to. And it just their back end has gotten a lot better than it used to not be that.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, because when I first started, I looked at Wix and it was years ago, but Wix was not the thing.
Yeah, Wix was not. I was not a fan. I was not a fan of Wix. The only reason I'm even mentioning it right now is because I used to. I have a friend of mine who changed her platform over to Wix, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually it's a way better back end than before. I think it just they made it a lot easier for the clients.
Good.
Yeah, so I will look at Wix. Some of you probably have thought about WordPress. Unless you are hiring somebody for it, I would not suggest it. WordPress is one of those you really are building everything about it from scratch. It's slow because it's an open source type of tool, and so that means a lot of people are on it, and it's very customizable, but it's too customizable.
Yes,
it's too many things to think about. And I don't think most organizers really will find it valuable because I see you needing that level of customization. And unless you're taking your organization another step, whatever that kind of looks like, I don't really think it's necessary for you. Drag and drop like Wix, I'm still a fan of Squarespace. I still think it's an okay platform. And it also just a little bit depends on what you're trying to do in the future. So if you need more customization to the site, if you need, I don't know, if your clients are going to use the website as like a portal type of thing, I don't even know how they would. So that's just some things you want to think about if you're going to choose a platform. But for the most part, I don't think most people are going to go into that. So I would use Wix, I would use Squarespace. I'm trying to think if there's another one.
Well, one other one that has popped up recently that I don't have any experience with, but some of my girls in my membership have been using is Google Sites. Have you messed with Google Sites at all?
I have unfortunately ran into Google Sites. I have a totally separate client who has their website in Google Sites, and it's literally like bare bones. You can get something up. I'll give you that. You can get something up, but you can't grow with it. I wouldn't say you can grow with it.
Right. So it's a good starter point for the person that's not techie, that's not whatever, that just wants like a super simple, like 2-page website with just a couple little things. Then that might be an option. Correct. But if you're wanting to grow, or once you're to that point where you are wanting to grow, then it's better to go with something like Squarespace or Wix for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. I would agree. 100%.
You just want to get something up over the weekend. Google Sites it. When you're like, I need a little bit more, we'll go to Squarespace. We'll go to Wix. Samantha will help you out with that. So yeah, that's my opinion there.
Yeah, just give me a call. We'll figure it out. Awesome. So just to close this up, tell them a little bit about your Facebook group, your offer, what you do for people, all those things.
Oh, absolutely. So my Facebook group is called Succeeding with Systems. It's a group specifically for people who are at more so the scaling phase of their businesses. And so they have a bunch of automation and tech issues, and they just want to learn how to really take back their time because they're just at that level. You can actually go to succeedingwithsystems.com/group, and you can opt in. You can actually join it. It's 100% free. I do live streams every single week, and then we also have different posts throughout the week as well. And we're just talking about growing companies and especially creating a sellable company. that's really where the concept of systems and automation technology really come into play. And so I talk a lot about that, especially for service-based business owners like all of y'all. So if you're interested in that, you can, I'll give her the link. She'll have it in the show notes and stuff. But that's my main thing. It's a free group, and I love being able to pour into it. So I hope to see y'all there.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And it sounds like we will definitely be setting up a part 2 for the women that listen that are scaling, because we definitely have those women too listening. So for you listening, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you in the next one. You have been listening to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. Go to the show notes to find all of the links mentioned in this episode, and hit that subscribe and automatic download button so you don't miss a single thing. Thanks for listening.